everybody, and welcome to Drama Therapy as Performance. These are live demonstrations of drama therapy. And tonight we have the very special pleasure of witnessing a demonstration of sociodrama. And it will be led by an esteemed faculty member who's been teaching in the NYU program in drama therapy for over 30 years. I'm going to introduce you to her in just a moment. I'll let you know who I am. My name's Nisha Sachnani. I'm the director of the program in drama therapy. So it's a very special pleasure to be able to introduce you now to Nina Garcia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nina Garcia, as Nisha said, and I'm a cis white female. My pronouns are she, her. And because I have trouble with my eyes also, I just want, for those of you also who have vision issues, to know that I have dark hair. I am wearing a patterned red and beige and black shirt and a black tunic, and I've got some good comfy sneakers on so that I can wander around a lot while we're doing sociodrama. So now let me tell you, one other thing I want to mention to you. Since I was a child, I don't know why, but it has always felt more wonderful for me to, when I'm doing a presentation, to have my notes with me. Probably because I don't want to forget anything that I want to tell you. So I hope that that will be okay with you, because you're kind of stuck with it. Anyway, Jacob Levy-Moreno was a physician and a psychiatrist whose dates are 1889 to 1974. And he is the person who created and developed sociodrama. And he developed it between the years of 1921 and 1923 at his Theater of Spontaneity. And in the Theater of Spontaneity, what he did was bring together a group of actors and train them in spontaneity work and invite people from the community to come in, because he was very much a social activist also. Invite people from the community to come in and to watch to ask the audience. He would ask the audience something about issues of the day, political issues of the day, religious issues of the day, whatever was going on that was, I guess, a social issue of the day. And people would make suggestions, and the actors would enact scenes. And the audience would make additional suggestions, and the actors would enact other scenes. And that was the beginning of sociodrama. And it sounds a lot like regular improvisational theater, right? Except Moreno also developed a huge number of techniques as well to widen and deepen the scope of the action. And so what happens in sociodrama is that sociodrama is a group action method in which participants act out agreed upon social situations spontaneously, and they discover alternate ways of dealing with those issues. And it concerns itself with the aspects of roles that we share in common and that we share with others, and helps people to express their thoughts and feelings, solve problems, and clarify values. But unlike simple role play, sociodrama has myriad techniques like role reversal and doubling and mirroring. And you'll see some of those techniques today. And what that does is to deepen the scope of the action and deepen what happens. Anybody here who has been in groups where people use role play, oftentimes people are rolling their eyes because it could be so boring. But what's interesting about sociodrama is it doesn't come from me about what somebody's going to do, but from the group about what we're going to do. We may have a theme, but whatever happens will come from the group of actors who are on the stage. It also, I think I did say this, but if I didn't, that sociodrama helps us to clarify values and offers opportunities to explore new and more satisfying ways of interacting with others. And so, without further ado, I would like the cast members to come and introduce themselves to you, and I refer to them as enactors, so please come on out. I'm going to step back.
My name is Lauren Spall Brown, and I'm a white woman with gray hair. I go by pronouns she, her, and I'm wearing a gray blouse and a scarf with a design on it.
My name is Whitney Bell. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a black woman with chocolatey brown skin and short curly brown hair. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a white graphic that reads Theater for Social Justice underneath a denim over jacket and maroon leggings.
Hello, everyone, and my name is June, and I am a Chinese woman, and I have black long hairs, and I'm wearing a orange blouse and my brown pants and white sneakers.
Hello, my name is Herman Sanchez. I'm Hispanic, he, him. I am wearing a black shirt and khaki pants.
And I am Karen Moore, she, her, and I am a white female wearing all black and have brown hair.
And my name is Linda Condon, and I'm a she, her, and I am wearing a multicolored shirt. I have darkish curly hair and black pants and comfy sneakers.
So let's sit. Hi, everybody.
Okay.
So as we start, so that we can really fully get ourselves into the room, we're going to start with something that's called the box breath. And with box breath, what happens in a moment is that, well, I'll do a little bit of something so that you can notice how your breath is right now. And then what we'll do is inhale for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, exhale for the count of 4, and hold for the count of 4. So it's inhale 4, hold, exhale 4, hold. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But let's just take a minute before that to just settle in and just take a moment to go inside and notice how it feels to be inside your body at this moment. And let's take a moment to thank your body for being there and being here and being with you. And then as we start to do box breath, I'm going to count for the first 2, and then what I'll do is be silent so that if my rate is not the same as your rate, you can adjust it for your own rate. And so let's inhale for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling. 2, 3, 4 with either your mouth closed or open. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale with your mouth closed. 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And now do this at your own pace. And after you have done that completely, twice at least, just check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling. And as you're ready, open your eyes, please. Okay. So you know that today what we're going to be doing is talking about moving out of our comfort zone and making space for people with differing views. And in our country right now, boy, oh boy, there seems to be a lot of, not only a lot of differing views, but people seem to be very polarized about views. And so the question is, how can we come to holding our own views and still permitting the views of others? And what can we do, or do we even want to do anything in order to do that? So as we get started, let's say names again, and one positive quality that you have that you really value. One positive quality that you have that you really value. I'm going to write them up here, okay? Just so we know what they are. Who's got one? Positive quality that you value. Karen?
I would say loyalty.
Loyalty. Whoopsie. Great. And who else? June?
Yeah, I think empathetic.
Okay, you're empathetic. Okay, who else?
I'll go, oh,
Lauren?
I'll go Whitney.
Yeah, playfulness.
Playfulness.
That's Whitney.
And then
Said
you
Lauren,
do
and
that.
then I'll go next. I like that. Thank you. I'm open-hearted.
Open-hearted.
I would go with humor. Humor.
Humor.
I
Okay.
think I'm going to go with creative.
Creative, okay. You know, I'm going to put that up here so that we have some of these up at the top. Okay, so those are some of the qualities that we already know that we have, and they may be helpful to us when we're trying to work on whatever it is that we end up working on. And so as we get started, I'm going to ask you all to stand up, and we're going to do what's called a logogram. And with a logogram, we're moving from spot to spot. And so the first question is, if you have ever been criticized, would you please move to that side of the room?
Okay.
And just share with somebody what that felt like.
Shitty.
Gross.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Awful.
I felt
Frustrating.
Little.
Little.
Yeah.
Belittling.
Like really shocked
No.
and like really scared.
I hate it.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to
But now,
resist and get away,
different.
run away.
Oh,
Frustrating.
I'm aware of
yes.
it.
It's not a fun feeling at all.
Like when I'm
Definitely
criticized.
took
I try to tell
your window of
myself.
tolerance.
Right,
more
right.
about the other
Like kind of
person
pushing you
than
into
me.
like a
It's from all the
Uncomfortable.
criticism.
corner.
I feel
Yeah.
a little more like-
Playful mood.
I could tell the person, like, hey,
You just have to be with
Yeah.
a playful person.
And would one of you share with us what it felt like to be criticized?
belittled.
You felt little.
Belittled.
Belittled. Did anybody else feel belittled when they were
Yes.
criticized?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when you do
Okay, not that much fun.
No.
Okay, next question is, if you have ever criticized yourself, would you please step over here?
And Nina, if I've never criticized myself, I would stay here.
Yes,
Oh
or if
my
you've seldom,
gosh.
if that's not something
Oh,
that
I
you
wish that
hardly
were-
ever do.
I really
Oh,
wish
Whitney?
I
gotta be honest.
Oh, any?
Say.
Impressed.
Okay, so share with your partner what the heck it's like to criticize yourself.
I know,
What's
I'm
it
really
like,
good at it.
Whitney?
Wow.
But I try not to, but it feels shitty.
A little too
I
easy.
said it the other
I
way.
know.
What about
I
you?
know, it's just like
Um,
feeling really used to that.
Yeah.
Feeling like
How do I
that's
say
the
that?
only way to be better.
I think it's the gift.
Like that. I want to write that down.
Right.
And
I wanna write
Yeah,
that. It was
because
really
that voice
good.
can be big.
And I'm
Bring a
wondering if
volume.
maybe one person would share with us what it's like to judge yourself harshly or criticize yourself harshly.
It's easier to do that than to give yourself self-compassion.
Ah, so it's easy to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, good to know.
Right.
Okey doke. Okay, so now over here is for anybody who has ever been bullied.
That side.
Yes, that side, if you've ever been bullied.
Sort of.
These are so sad.
Like we're all, no one's on that side.
Yeah, well, these are the things that are not so much fun,
Oh,
right?
they're really.
But they're also the things that kind of get us to be acting in ways that are not so kind to other people also. Yeah. So would you share with your partner or with a partner? And it could be a different partner than the person you spoke to before.
I guess we're okay.
I felt
Yeah, I
scared.
think
Scared
that's definitely fun.
and angry.
Frustrating.
Scary memory.
Frustrating.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's just like
What about you?
criticism taken to the next level. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
so,
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and notice, it takes us even longer to talk about this
Mhm.
because of what it does to us when we're bullied. So will somebody share something about what it's like to be bullied? Does that feel okay?
Afraid, fear.
Frightened.
frightened, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else want to say a word for what it feels like?
I think confusing.
And confusing, right? What's wrong with me? I'm fine. Yeah, yeah. And so speaking of that, I'm wondering if any of you have ever felt threatened in any way. And if you felt threatened, would you come over here? And if you haven't, you can stay where you are.
Kind of, yeah. I don't like being over here.
I don't like these words.
My gosh. I like that. Not so many differing views over here.
No.
Okay, would you share with a partner very briefly about, and you could just talk about how it felt to be threatened or a specific time that you were threatened.
You, Miss Linda.
Yeah, well, we haven't been together yet.
Yeah.
I felt
So what did you feel?
And thank you for
Again,
finding
like-
different partners.
I think it's also
This is
like
parental.
it always come like
felt
surprising, like in general,
Like you weren't expecting it.
Definitely,
Bullied.
I'm not
Yeah, it's like
expecting
scared.
anything like that, but like suddenly I'll feel
What
like
about
I'm
you?
like protective of myself,
Yeah.
feeling like a threat.
And I had to fight back.
Yeah, I feel like I need to
Yes.
defend.
Yes.
And who will share with the group about a time that you were threatened and what that was like? What that felt like? Because some of us are threatened emotionally by somebody, and sometimes we're threatened physically, right? That maybe somebody's coming towards us to punch us or to hit us or something. So somebody willing to share with us what it's like in either of those ways?
I think for me, it's just like I go automatically into freeze mode a lot of the time. So then it's like avoidance or just kind of.
So we just kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, and I see
Yeah.
nods here, right? So other people too just
Yeah.
sort of freeze. It's like,
Right.
what do I do next?
Mhm.
Yeah, right?
And then,
And then fight. Uh-huh. Okay, so for some of us it's flight, some of us it's fight, right? We move ourselves right out of the window of tolerance real quick
right.
when we're threatened. Yeah. So now we're going to do some spectrograms. And spectrograms, as you know, are a continuum, and they can be from 0 to 10 or 0 to 100. Let's do 0 to 100, just for the heck of it. So how aggravated or activated do you get when you are watching the news on TV or on social media?
Oh, boy.
I don't
Which
know
end
shit.
is which?
This is 0, that's 100%.
Okay.
Okay.
How activated do you get?
Yeah.
Watching the news on TV or social media?
Okay. I think I'm over here.
Are you, what number are you?
80.
Okay, good. I'm about a 70.
What number are you?
70, 75. Okay.
Yeah, ask each other what number you're at.
What
Yeah,
are you?
what number?
Yeah, I think so.
10.
Okay, what are you?
Probably 10.
Around 10.
What are you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like
10,
40.
10.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I'm like 70.
Okay,
I
so
feel-
say out loud where you are, just so we know.
Okay.
So you're around 10?
10.
10.
Wow.
10, we got a 10 group here,
40.
40,
How about a 70?
70.
This is the activated side, right?
This is the activated
Yeah.
side.
Okay, I was worried that I was in the wrong place.
Okay.
80.
About 80. Okay. So I'm wondering if one of you towards this end and one of you towards this end, just to say something about what that's about for you.
I can.
Go ahead.
So I purposely unfollowed a lot of the news
Mm-hmm.
because everything was breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. And it's been reported that within itself causes a lot of people to have anxiety. And you know what? I live a busy day, and that's like the last thing I want to be dealing with.
Smart.
So a lot of it is unfollowed in my social media, and especially like automatic videos don't play, so I have everything set a certain way. So that's how I do it as a way to kind of create some distance.
Uh-huh. So you've created a way for yourself not to become activated about
Yes.
it.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need some of that. Because, I don't know, maybe it's because of its election year or something, but it's like feel like my stomach gets tight every time I watch the news, and yet I can't stop watching it because it's just sad. So sad, overwhelming, and, sometimes unbelievable. And hurtful, and, yeah, it's hard to, and I have not developed as good of a system of dealing with it as you have.
And let me ask another question now. How open do you feel you are? And we'll do 0 to 100 again, okay? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So how open do you feel you are to the religious views of others?
Where's 0? 0 down
Open,
there?
zeros are over there,
Open.
100% is over
That
there.
you are, okay,
Yeah.
open.
How open are you to the religious views of others?
0 is open.
Very open.
This is open. Over here is open.
Open is over here. This is-
Closed is there, opened is here.
No,
No, open.
No.
open is
Oh,
here.
Open is
How
here.
open are you?
I feel really.
Not at all open,
Yeah, I feel
100%.
Really open.
Okay,
Okay, what
not
numbers are we at?
100%. What number are you?
Like 85.
I'm like a 80, 90.
I think I'm
Yeah,
about
80, 90.
85.
Yeah, I feel
Okay,
really open.
I'm probably
I'm at a
80.
75.
You are? Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
we're
about an
grouped
80.
over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What number are you?
80, I think.
80. I'm about an 80.
Uh-huh. So does
That's
somebody want to
good.
say why they place themselves where they place themselves?
I can share. Personally, for me, like I know that I'm very open, but when I'm being met with a very rigid mindset or one that I feel like they're not necessarily making sense to me, like they're saying their belief is one thing, but their actions don't back it, that's where I get that's where my 15% I think comes in, because I'm like, are you actually following your religion? Or like that doesn't align to me. so.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
And Lauren, did you want to add something?
No, I feel like it's hard. Yeah, I have about the same. And when someone comes very strong with a differing view, I freeze a little bit and I don't know how to, so I don't know. I'm open to theirs, but anyway.
Uh-huh. And so it's more
Conflicting.
challenging to be open when someone's view either
Is so,
seems
Rigid.
hypocritical in some way, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They say
Yes.
they espouse the view and then don't do what they say.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is when it's so strong that it's almost aggressive.
yeah, I can't,
Uh-huh.
I can't. Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
have a hard time with that.
And how open are you to those whose political views are different than yours? And we'll do 0 over there and 100% over here.
Open over there.
Open is over here.
Okay.
I'm 100% open to anybody's political views about anything in the world.
Oh, I have a hard time. Yeah,
Oh,
I have,
gosh.
this is a real hard.
Here we go.
Oh, this is a hard one.
Where are you?
I'm
50?
kind of, maybe I'm a little more to 60. 60
go
being.
You gotta
in-
go.
You gotta go.
Open.
It's 60.
You're 60%
This is open.
Open?
This is open. This
This
is
is
open.
open.
This is 100% open.
Okay.
I'm
This
still-
is
I'm in the
single.
middle. I'm
No
50.
tolerance.
It feels, I have to walk. Let me walk a little
I
bit.
don't feel
I'm not
that
sure.
open.
Huh?
I
I
think
feel
I'm
like-
going to be
Yeah,
I feel like
me
maybe
too.
like a
Open to-
45.
No, I'm not.
45.
I have to
Okay.
feel it.
Where are you, Whitney?
This is like a 30.
And this is like,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
open.
think I am
Well,
about
I'm definitely-
30-ish.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you,
about
Jim,
here.
where are you?
I'm still in the middle.
Maybe 40, 40-ish.
Okay, that's over here, right?
Okay, so
That's
let's
a
hear
hard
why
one.
people place themselves where they place themselves.
Oh, boy.
I think that everyone has a right to their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's when people are harmed by other people's beliefs that
Correct.
that's when it becomes a tension for me.
Right.
I agree with that.
And That's
What
you
num-
guys nodding your heads about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. You know what, let's have you guys shake this off now and sit down. Okay, so here's my question. Let's think of some specific situations that come up for you, given what we've explored here, in terms of where you feel like people, including us, can use more comfort in dealing with each other's views.
And Nina,
Situations? Mm-hmm.
are you asking us about our personal lives or
No, this is
about-
not our personal lives. This is just in general.
Okay.
Like, where do you think that, for example, you might say, gee, in the park, it would be nice if people didn't blare their music really loud. Okay, it could be something like that. All righty? And so, where but again, a situation where people would benefit from being able to tolerate each other's views and make room for each other's views and have some open-heartedness and open-mindedness about each other's views. Not that they have to take them, but that it's not fisticuffs.
I got one.
Got one?
I would say at a school board meeting about book banning.
School board meeting about what?
Book banning.
What else?
I think the Israeli-Palestinian issue.
Okay, so what about that, Lauren? Can you narrow that a little bit? Because that's, as
Well,
you
the
know, it's
two-
enormous,
so
right?
enormous,
I mean, so would it be
I mean, God,
two people who work together, one of whom is Palestinian, one of whom
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
Israeli, that kind of
American,
thing? Or what are you
maybe,
thinking
yeah.
about?
One who's Palestinian American, one who's Israeli American, and they work together.
That's cool.
But I don't know if that's a sociodrama.
Yeah, it is.
It could be.
Yeah.
And they have different views on protesting or something. I don't know. Something with a protest I'm not sure.
Can you guys see this? I know it's pretty small, because I
I
want to
can
make
see
sure,
it.
make
Yeah.
sure that we have enough
I could
room.
see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else has an idea? Herman?
Gender affirming care for transgender non-binary youth.
Yeah. Oof. That's a good one.
Gender care for, tell me again, trans?
And non-binary youth.
Trans and non-binary.
Okay.
How about a PTA meeting discussing school dress code?
I was going to say something along the lines of like a abortion clinic and
Ooh, that's good. If there are any
that's-
protesters and
versus the
users
clinic. Yeah.
in the clinic.
Protesters and who
Clinic
else?
staff.
And
Versus like the clinic and the,
okay, protesters versus users or clinic? The clinic staff, or you're thinking about the,
I was thinking like the clinic staff. but
Okay.
It could be, or the patients themselves.
anybody else an idea?
Something with AI would that be something?
Okay, what about it?
I don't know, like something, I'm a teacher in a public school where AI, I don't know, I can't think of a conflict. I can't think of many conflicts, but like,
Writing homework.
what, tell
Like
it?
the AI doing the
Like
homework.
whether
for
I'm
them, or
allowed to use it maybe?
Yeah, being allowed.
Like maybe the school is against AI or promoting AI.
I just know
or
it's a
having social.
conflict in our
I think
school.
there's some school that's like banning
Yeah.
phone using or like social media, but
Phones, something with phones and AI. I don't know, that's too vague. Maybe we're not on that one. We could cut that one. But it's
No, we're
just
not
a-
going to cut it. We'll just let it
AI,
we're just
AI,
let it
be there.
marinate.
Yeah.
Did I get it right,
Yeah.
Lauren?
AI for
AI in
education,
education
yes.
somehow.
because there's a lot of
Okay.
plagiarism.
Because the other
How do
thing
you
is,
know?
Right.
if we choose to work on this, we as a group will figure
Yeah.
out
Okay.
Right.
aspects that we
Specifics.
want to do.
I liked yours, June. You said something about phones and social media.
We're like using technology to do the homework.
Okay.
So that's in the AI part.
Well, that's
Yeah,
part of the
kind of
AI
the
one.
AI
Oh,
part.
okay.
Okay, that's
Okay.
part of the AI part. Okay, great.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, do we have enough of them, you think?
I think so.
So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read them back, if that's okay for you guys.
Think about
And let yourself think of what you feel like, that I could benefit from learning more about this myself, and that this would be something that would be really not just fun to do, but interesting, and that I would learn something from it. So a school board meeting about book banning, a Palestinian American and an Israeli American who are co-workers, gender-affirming care for transgendered and non-binary youth, a PTA meeting discussing school dress codes, an abortion clinic with protesters versus the clinic staff, and AI in education. Okay, so you know how it works in sociodrama. You get one vote.
I want 2.
I want 3.
You want 3?
Or 6.
Oh, I know, it's hard. Okay, so, how about if I read them back, and you raise your hand for the one that you like the best?
Okay.
Is that okay? No.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, as you know, with sociodrama, one of the wonderful things is if you are doing sociodrama for a day long or something like that, really you do have an opportunity to do several sociodramas to explore a variety of different ones. But sadly, we just have enough time to work with one today. So, school board meeting. Okay, Palestinian American and Israeli American. Gender-affirming care for transgendered and non-binary youth.
I'll vote. I want to vote for that one. I think there's 2.
Is that up or no?
Herman, you're voting for
There's
me.
some other thing, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll vote for
Okay,
it.
so we got 3? Was that a yes or a no?
Yeah.
Okay. Oopsie. PTA meeting discussing school dress codes, abortion clinic with protesters, okay, and AI in education.
Cool.
Okay, so I think we got it with gender-affirming care for transgendered and non-binary youth,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, so now we have to figure out, like, what about that? What about that do we want to work with? Because it's a pretty big topic, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm.
So who's got an idea? Is this about the person's family? Is this about, in terms of care, is this about a school? Is this about hospital? Is
I like
this
the
about
school.
going to a doctor's? What is this about?
I like the school idea.
Maybe going to.
How would it fit into school?
We'll figure it out.
All
Okay.
doctors.
Give me
No,
just a
it's cool.
second,
I
because
like
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
We're patient.
Okay, good. So did you have an idea?
We
We
were
were
saying
think-
school.
A school, okay, school. I'm going to write it up here. School. Okay.
I'm thinking going to see a doctor.
Going to see a doctor. So how about if we make a decision between each of those, okay? About whether it would be a focus on something that's going on at school or something that in relation to the medical profession, to a doctor, okay?
I like the idea of the doctor in the sense of a doctor wanting to offer treatment and maybe it could be a hospital policy or something like that.
As someone who works with this population, we have kids who might want gender affirming care, but sometimes the parents don't support it or they're ambivalent to it. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done around building attunement. with the
Attunement
parent
between the parent and the
Yeah.
child,
so that they can have an understanding
okay?
of what they need. And so
Okay, so can we make it, again, because of time, can we make a decision among these 3? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
So it would be either dealing with this issue at school, with a doctor, someone going to a doctor, or a parent and child with the parent either being unwilling or uninterested or clueless maybe about this. Is that what you were thinking, Herman? And with a child. So, okay. And the school is about whether school will offer this care, is what I was imagining that you wanted. Was that right, the person who said school?
When I'm thinking about school, I'm thinking about the use of bathrooms,
Oh,
dress
okay.
codes,
Yeah.
those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's
being
the
able
grade.
to use the name you want to use.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Sports
Okay,
and
great,
activities.
okay. And then with the doctor, I think somebody said one doctor who wanted to
Offer care
to offer care in a situation where care was not really available.
because of the laws.
Yeah, due to laws.
Huh.
Okay. Is that like enough so that you can make a
Yes.
decision?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. All right. So those for schools, raise your hand. Those for the doctor wants to offer care. Those for parent and child.
Oh, oh, no.
Oh,
Can
no.
we do two?
Gotta
No, we
talk.
can't.
No,
we
we
do two
can't.
scenes?
We have
We can't
to
do
choose
two.
one.
Have
Well-
parents in the conversation.
Well-
Like a
with the school.
conversation
Well,
with the child.
It starts at home. If
It
Starts at-
starts at home.
It starts.
It starts at
if they
home.
want the change to take it to the school, the parents have to go advocate for their own kids. And if those parents aren't willing or don't have that understanding,
That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So does that work with everybody?
Wait,
I
say
did-
that
I
again.
didn't
So
what you said,
say it again,
Tom.
Herman.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
I mean, it starts at home and making sure that parents are willing and are in tune to their child's needs, because a child can only do so much, and the parents have to be their advocate.
And
especially-
under a certain age cannot go to the doctor to even ask for
Mhm.
But also,
or ask for the resources at the school.
At school.
like if there's not like a gender neutral bathroom, or do you know what
Yeah.
happens, and the parent has to advocate
Mhm.
or
Because-
not.
Right.
Are we
right.
talking then that it would be a parent helping advocate?
It would,
the
I
school,
think
or-
if I understood what you had said,
Mhm.
was that how the parent and child, could have an encounter or conversation about this when the parent is not 100% in favor of gender reassignment or making the shifts. Did I understand that correctly?
Right.
Okay. So would that be okay that we start there?
Yeah, we
and
could start there.
And
Yeah.
move towards
The school.
whether or not they're going to go to a doctor? Would that be okay with everybody?
Or to
Or
the
the
school.
school.
Advocate at the
Let's go to the school, rather. Oh, I apologize.
Forget the
Okay,
doctor.
We're forgetting the doctor,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just wipe it.
Yeah, no doctor.
The doctor, Nina.
So we start at home and then we go to school, possibly.
That's why all the resources are in the group. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
cool.
So,
Fun.
all right, so now we need our enactors. So who is willing to be the young person? And, how old is the young person?
That's a good.
High school? You guys think? High
Yeah.
school?
15?
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
like
good
10th
age.
grade.
15
right?
good?
I
Okay,
think
everybody likes
15 is
15.
like a 10th
Okay, so
grade.
who's willing to be a 15-year-old who not wants to, but, needs really to have changes made both at school and physiologically? Who's willing to be that 15-year-old?
I feel too old.
You guys chose
Okay.
it.
Well, I
You
I
chose
feel
it.
too old for that. I don't know.
I'll be willing to do it.
Thank you, Herman. Thank you.
Thanks, Herman.
Okay. And who would be willing to play the parent who's not so interested in being helpful? Because remember, this is about differing views, right? And what can we do when we have differing views? What are our resources? What can we do?
Yeah, I guess I could try to play. I could play.
Great, Lauren,
Okay.
terrific.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask each of you to take a scarf to just represent yourselves,
All right.
okay?
Sure.
So you represent yourself
nervous
as this
now.
15-year-old.
Oh, good. Pick your scarf first. I don't know what color to pick. Like I'm just gonna pick blue, I guess. Okay. Okay,
I like
here.
this one.
I'll just pick this. Okay.
And where shall we have this scene take place?
I guess at home.
Home?
Yeah.
At
Yeah, what
home?
room?
Okay.
Where?
And is it going to be on a weekend? Is it going to be after school? When is it going to be?
Maybe it's like
Maybe at the dinner table.
Oh, at dinner.
At dinner?
At dinner.
Okay,
That's a
at
good
dinner.
idea.
And they're just the two of them at dinner, is that correct?
Yes.
Or do we want to have another parent also?
Another parent. Another parent. Come on.
think
Come
so.
on. Okay,
Okay,
the other
all right,
parent.
we got
Okay,
another
good.
parent.
And then maybe the child is going out or wants to go out or something, or I don't know.
Okay, we're going to find out
Okay,
in a minute.
not sure.
We're going to find out in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
so,
Hey, parent.
so I'm going to ask you guys to step
Oh,
forward, so
oh,
I'm not
okay.
giving people my back.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah.
And
Okay,
so I see you as being two females,
Okay, yeah.
as you look.
Sure.
And so are you lesbian parents of this child? Or is one of you a male and one of you a female? Just in terms
no,
of
it's a
of
good
the
question.
sociodrama.
What would be, I mean, do we want to be parents that advocate for our child, or are we parents that have a issue? I just want
Right,
to see
right,
what we
right.
want to work through here, like what,
Well,
like gender affirming
well,
care.
well, yes. And so one of the things that we talked about is how can we manage differing views?
Right.
So at least one of the two of you needs to not be on board with this.
Right, that's right.
I think a man and a woman.
Man, a
A
woman.
man
I think
and a
you're right.
woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So which one would like to be a male and would be a female?
I don't care. Do you have a preference? No. Rock, paper, scissors, no. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, shoot. Okay,
You
good.
win.
But
So,
which is
okay,
what
I'll
is
be
that?
the- I'll be the man.
Okay.
I'll be, I don't know. Perfect. That was,
Okay.
there was no
Whatever works,
rationale in
right?
that at all. But that's okay. I'm the man,
Right, you're the
and
man.
my name is
Joe.
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 Gotcha.
Okay, so you're Joe and you're?
I'm the mom, and my name is
Sally.
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 Okay, so we have Joe and Sally.
Joe and Sally.
And what is this someone who looks like a male to us?
Or
What
do
did
we
we
want
name
it
him?
to be?
What is the name, the given name for this child?
Is
Well,
it
we-
male
Can I
or
name
female?
myself?
What would be?
What
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
biological?
I'll name myself Theo.
Theo.
What is the
Theo.
biological?
Okay.
Theo?
Okay.
T-H-E-O?
Yes.
No,
Okay, I
is-
just wanna be
is
sure I'm hearing it
Theo-
correctly.
Is Theo
Theo.
born, I mean,
We haven't
birthed
identified.
male or birthed female? Like, do you know what
We haven't
gender?
identified that.
Male, but they're non-binary.
Okay.
Right.
Male,
Okay.
but
Male, but
non-binary.
And is
Okay.
Theo
The chosen name?
given or chosen?
That's his chosen name.
Okay, what is the
Okay,
given?
what's the given
Oh,
name?
what did we call,
Oh, Theo is your chosen name?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what's the given name?
Joseph.
Joseph?
Joseph.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right, so we have who? We have
I'm Joe.
Joe and
This is Sally.
Sally
Who-
and Joseph.
Jr.
And
Joseph Jr.,
Which
AKA
one of us
Theo.
which one of us is like,
No.
you are Doug
I
Joseph?
think the dad should be more rigid,
Yeah.
and the mom be like a little empathetic, maybe trying to
No, no, I didn't know
understand.
I.
Okay, okay.
I
Joe's
think,
mad about
I
his
think
name.
dad's perspective is like, you are my, Joe.
You are Joseph
Joe
Jr.
Jr., like, you are my
Legacy.
son.
That's right.
You
And
know,
I'm-
that's the
Oh,
stance.
Joe, of course, I get it now, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you'll help.
Okay.
We're
And-
doing this together,
Double free.
co-creation.
It's good.
And you're
Okay.
going to be at dinner, and what is it that Joe/Theo wants? What does he want from his parents? What assistance does he want from them and need from them?
That's a
He
good
wants to
question.
use Theo.
Yes,
Or-
and they, right?
Yes. and
Okay, so what does,
He wants the
What do they-
school
what
to
do they want?
use his desired pronoun, is that right, pronouns?
Yeah.
Changes.
Pronouns,
Okay.
and to use his desired name.
use
And
the
he's
desired-
registered as Joe
Joseph.
Jr.
Okay.
Joseph.
Anything
And
Joseph.
anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Is that what you'd like, Theo?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you'd like your parents to call you by the correct name, and you'd like
And use the correct pronouns.
use the correct pronouns, and also at school that they speak to you
Yes.
adequately.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you interested in any surgery at this point?
No.
Or no? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so can we set up is it dinner table? Isn't that what we said? Dinner?
Yeah, dinner time.
Okay.
So let's set up the dinner
Dinner,
table.
okay,
You could take
dinner.
some chairs.
Okay, dinner, I'll just take, yeah, we should have, huh?
There's
Oh,
one over
okay,
there.
there's plenty of chairs, okay. All right.
No.
So this is a very traditional household, right?
Very traditional house.
Yeah.
All right, I mean,
Okay.
conservative.
The most traditional.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
Whoa, this is tough. They even sit next to each other.
I know.
All
My
right.
goodness.
I'm gonna-
Okay,
I'm gonna do-
and given that you guys know what sociodrama is, if any point you feel like you want to double, feel free to double. And as you know, different from psychodrama, you can double for any of the participants.
Okay.
Okay, so
This
Theo,
is delicious.
come on over here for just
Oh,
a second.
Thank you. Sure. Do
So,
Can I get some more? Yeah, I need
so
more.
let's
Okay,
just
okay.
freeze
Oh,
for just
sorry.
a second. So, Theo, how are you feeling about this?
Oh gosh, really anxious.
Yeah, yeah. And you've never had this conversation with them before, huh?
I had, and sometimes mom gets it, but dad really doesn't get it,
Uh-huh.
and it gets frustrating, and and then he starts yelling, and then just like I shut down right away
Oh, gosh.
because I just don't want to deal with it anymore,
Uh-huh,
and it's just
uh-huh.
I don't get it why they just can't just use pronouns.
The pronouns, yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we'll find out why they can't use the pronouns, and hopefully they can start to use them, right?
Right.
Okay, so come on in,
Okay.
okay?
Joe, it's really nice of you to show up to dinner. Here.
Joe, this is your dinner. Here.
He said he's not eating meat right now.
He's not?
He's not. No, he's not eating meat, right?
No? This is delicious. Just eat it.
Mom and dad, I asked plenty of times to be called Theo.
Theo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, not again. Here we go again. I can't call you Theo. Your name is Joe. You're named after me. You are my legacy. I can't stand it. This is the same conversation we have day after day. Joe, he is my son.
And I want you to use they, them pronouns.
They, them. What is they, them? I don't understand it.
I'm so frightened about this, oh my God.
I am so frightened about this. Oh my God.
I wish you could just see me and hear me.
Oh God.
And I wish you can just see me and hear me.
Let's just have dinner.
Sally,
Here.
help me out. I mean, he is our son. See him. I see him. He is Joe. I can't.
But you don't
It's
really
just
see
a
me.
name.
What are you talking about? I see you. You are Joe. I can't.
Reverse roles.
Okay.
I see you. What do you mean I don't see you? I see you right there.
You don't see me. Dad, I am a they, them. I'm Theo. That's what I feel in my gut. You don't know me. You don't see me and you don't know me.
All right, Theo. We talked about this. Your dad needs some time, You just,
Ah,
can we just
Reverse
have a dinner?
roles.
How much time is it going to take?
How much time is it going to take?
I've been patient for over a year.
I've been patient over a year.
I don't know what to do.
And actually, I've been patient for longer than that for him to know who I am.
And I've been patient longer than that.
And Dad, let's take you out for just a
Yeah,
moment.
I'm glad I was thinking that feeling.
So let's just take a little walk, you and me.
A good idea.
Okay?
Mhm.
So we've got a screen up. They can't hear a thing
Oh.
that we're saying,
Okay, good.
not
good.
even your wife.
Okay, good.
So tell the truth. Have you noticed from the beginning who this person who you and your wife gave birth to really is?
No, I haven't. I can't. I'm holding on to this
You're holding on.
myself, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm Joe. My father was Joe. I mean, I can't.
So
It's
what?
it's not allowed in my.
Ah,
I can't
yeah.
be anyone else but Joe. I can't think of me as. I can't. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I can't. It's too ingrained.
And what
It's
do you,
oh,
go ahead.
no, it scares me.
It scares
It
you.
really
Yes,
scares me.
that's what I want to know
It
about.
really
So
scares me.
What
I'm
is it that
terrified.
scares you?
I have to start looking at myself. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the football team. You know, I have the, I mean, that, it, yeah. It just, yeah.
If he's not who I imagined, what does that mean about me as a father? Does that mean I'm good enough or not?
If he does not follow me, what does that make me as a father? Am I a good father? Am I a bad father? Does that make me even a you know?
Yeah.
I can't.
And what will the neighbors think?
And what will the neighbors think?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, like the neighbors, the church, we belong to the community. What are they going to think? He, him, he, her, they, them. I'm so confused.
I just feel like I'm being rejected.
I feel like I'm being rejected.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like I'm being rejected.
So that you feel like your son is rejecting you personally.
It's all about me, personally. If I take many steps double back, far back, it's all about me.
It's about you.
And I can't see that, you know, I can't bring myself to see that.
Uh-huh. And if you do see it, what would happen?
Again, I guess, what would the neighbors think?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a son either. I mean, it's hard because I don't have.
Do you have the strength with that or no?
I think I need to talk to my wife about it, you
Uh-huh.
know, Sally, because I don't have support.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where to,
You
you
don't know
know,
where
I
to
don't
go
feel
with this.
comfortable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm isolated right
Uh-huh.
now
Okay.
because I have my
Okay.
my drinking buddies. We go to the sports bar. We
Uh-huh.
do all
You
this. I
talk
don't
about
have
guy things.
guy things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have connection with this at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So, and I wouldn't even bring it up because I don't know what the father. I don't know. Is all I know when I go to the football, you know, games.
Yeah.
And
Everybody else's kid is.
we don't talk about it.
Oh, you don't talk about it at all. So you
No.
don't even know if
I
anybody
have
else
no
has
idea. I don't
issues.
even want to go there because I'm afraid of what
Mm-hmm.
people think.
And so, would you like to have a little conversation with your wife?
I think I need,
privately?
yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would.
So then, let's bring you back. And is there anything that you can say to your child that would be,
This conversation helped me so much.
oh, okay, so have a seat.
Joe, Theo, Theo, it's really hard for me. My jaw feels tight. I want to, but I can't right now. Like I have so much fear. And I want a relationship with you, but I'm really scared. I mean, I don't know if this is me saying.
And I'm fearful for, wait till he speaks. And I'm fearful for you as well as for me.
And I'm fearful for you as well as for me.
And I want to be honest with you about how I fear for myself. And I know I've not done that before.
Yeah, I want to be honest how I fear for myself, and I've never done that before. So
So can you tell him
tell him.
what you're fearful of?
Oh, oh yeah. I'm scared of looking at my own masculinity. I don't know how to. I'm scared about what the neighbors think. I'm scared about, like, I don't know you, and I'm scared of letting go. I'm scared of
Dad,
rejection.
I think before I was born, you wanted a healthy and happy child. And right now, I'm not happy. And I think if you just do these things for me, then I'll start to be more happy and healthy.
Because I don't have to hide out anymore and make believe I'm not who I'm not.
And I don't have to hide out anymore and make believe what I am, who I'm not.
And I understand fear too, Dad, but I don't want to live my life in it.
And I understand fear too, Dad, and I don't want to live my life in it.
For example, I'm kind of scared to tell friends at school, and I would like you and Mom to help me to figure out how to do that. Correct it if it's not right.
And for example, I want your help in school around certain things, addressing things that need to be changed because I don't feel comfortable there.
Like what?
Um,
I don't know. I mean,
like
is that
having non-binary bathrooms.
I don't even know what that means.
Let me explain it to you.
Let me explain it to you. Like, I want the school to use my pronouns and to use my given name and for them to respect that. And, you know, as my parents, it's your job to protect me and to be there for me, and this is where I need you
And I
the
can't
most.
and I can't do it without you.
And I can't do it without you.
Reverse roles. Is that what you're going to say, Liz?
It's really hard to sit there. Okay. I have to change. Oh. I really want you to support me. I mean, we want non-binary bathrooms, and I want to use the name that I chose. I want to change my name, and I need your support. I need you to support me. I'm 15. I can't do this by myself.
I can't do it without you.
I can't do it without you.
Speak to your son.
That's a lot.
I know. Yeah.
But Dad, do you really want to push me away? Because that's what you're doing, is you're pushing me further and further away from this family that I love. I want to be part of this family.
Do you really want to push me away? Like you push me further and further away, and I love this family. You're my family.
I love you.
I love you.
Reverse
We love
roles.
you.
Reverse
of course.
roles. Reverse roles. And hold this, and I want you to say that in a minute.
Okay.
Do you want to push me away further and further from this family, Dad?
Of course, we love you. We don't want. You're part of the family. All right? And we're trying to figure this out. Okay?
I just need. I love you. I have a work to do on myself. I need help with this. I need help.
I love you, and maybe I just love the image of what I thought you would be.
I love the image of what I thought you would be. I have to meet you, and it's really painful. Does that make sense? Because I don't really know you. And I'm scared to know you in a way.
And I wish I could tell you that everything will be different for me right now, instantly, but I can't do that. But one commitment I want to make to you is
I wish I could feel that, but it's really hard for me. But I want to. And one commitment I can make to you is I could get used to calling you Theo, I think.
I can try, but I'll probably mess up.
I could try, and I will mess up. I'm going to mess up a lot because you're still Joe in my heart to me, but I could practice that. Theo. I could practice.
And that's all I want.
That's pretty good. I mean,
Just angry.
Dad is trying to
I just,
change. I mean, he needs some times.
I need some time.
I'm really glad
need
that
some time.
you making this step for him.
I'm angry still, though.
I know.
I'm angry.
But we're trying. We're trying to change, all right? And it just might take some time. Maybe we want to help you in school, for sure.
We do?
But
Okay. Change your name? I can't. I need time with this.
yeah.
Yes, and so let's give you an opportunity to say the last thing you want to say for now.
Okay.
Because this is really the first conversation, right,
Right.
that you've had in this family in a way that you've at least been able to talk about this.
Okay.
And so each of you have said something that you're willing to do in relation to each other. And I'm wondering if the last thing you say to each other right now is that one thing that you're willing to do right now in relation to each other, to move this one step further.
Theo, I'm willing to call you. I'm willing to practice calling you Theo.
I'm willing to not get as angry when you use Joseph, and I'll practice some compassion towards you that you're trying to use Theo.
And I'm willing to support you both with this conversation, but I'm also kind of in shock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Does that feel complete enough for now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's let you de-roll.
Oh, good. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay.
And if we could shift the set and get back to yourselves. And
Right.
let's see who you are. Who are you?
Huh? I'm Lauren.
You're Lauren? Okay, great.
Still have
Nice to meet you.
glasses and the same.
Okay, all righty. And who are you?
I'm Herman.
Great. And
Okay.
who are you?
And I'm June.
Great, okay.
Okay, good.
Whew.
Well, can I sit? Oh, can I sit
So-
here next to you? Do you mind if I sit next to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just because I want to, I don't know.
So,
I
as
wanna-
you know, in sociodrama, when we share, we're not necessarily sharing from our own personal lives.
Right.
But rather from what we observed. And so, what did you notice were moments that were more challenging to be in this interaction?
The dad and child relationship.
The dad and child relationship.
Yeah.
Throughout, or did that shift at all?
I think throughout.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I felt like it shifted and softened just a tiny little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dad was willing to say, I am willing to try. That was improvement from when he first started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like the dad, I think when it started to be self-reflected for the dad,
Uh-huh.
it was like this dad has a lot of work to do because it's very, I hate the word narcissist, but very much about the dad's
Mhm.
feelings
And-
and,
and
help
in-
for the dad.
And in the
So-
role, Lauren, in the role of the dad, did you feel like there was an internal shift?
Oh, yeah, there
Uh-huh.
was.
And so can you say a little bit more about what that shift was like and what that was about?
It was just cool to make the connection that the dad needs work. I think it was in the little walk and talk
Uh-huh.
where the dad needs to look at the dad's self,
Mhm.
and it's the own relationship to meet the child. You know, the dad has a lot of work to do and has to be willing to do that.
Mhm.
And that would be the only way. But that's when it shifted, when the dad was finally knowing, willingness to kind of like, let me meet the child. That was the most moving thing. I don't know the child.
That was the attunement.
That was the attunement.
That was the attunement. That was
Right.
the attunement. And
Exactly.
that was cool. And really, it's the dad meeting the dad,
Mhm.
like, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Well, it's helpful if we meet ourselves before we try to meet anybody else, right? Yeah.
That's right.
And anything else that you noticed, and that anybody else noticed in relation to the dad or to anybody in the drama?
I just feel very stressful at the position, like in between.
Yeah, it was a tough place to be, huh?
Yeah, I was feeling like a little helpless.
Uh-huh.
Like those are both people that I love and I want them to be happy, but yeah, like where am I placing myself like to be? Or sometimes they're trying to smooth the things out, but yeah, but it seems like the conflict's important. But yeah.
Yeah, that was tough, yeah.
Anybody else want to say anything, share anything about what you noticed? Or what you hope or think might happen next for this family?
I think for me, I just noticed like a shift even for myself where once the dad was becoming more self-reflective, I was able to empathize more on that side, where before I was like, who cares about your legacy?
Whitney, did you want to say anything?
Oh, that I also just noticed how this is aligned with what folks are saying, like how reactive it was in the beginning, and being able to soften what was underneath that, and even for the dad to be able to think about, well, where are the places that this is touching me? And I think that that's a useful skill. It's not just about my child, it's also about who I was as a child. It's also about my father. It's also about my masculinity, and being able to bring all of those layers in when they don't seem so like apparent.
Right. And so when we think about this issue in general, and I know you said that really in real life you work with kids who have this issue, there is that complexity, right? That it's not simply the kid and a parent, it's the kid and the parents, and the kid and the others in the child's life as well. And so not just an easy one-word answer.
It's not like just two people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like
It really
everybody
is,
they
It
know.
really is a village. Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so I'm wondering about what do you think of these
Aw,
qualities
I like
that we identified in the beginning? What ones of these were in this sociodrama that helped to move things the tiny little
all of them.
inch that it was moved? Because really, many of us want to be able to solve a problem like that, and that would be just ducky if we could do that. The reality is, though, that oftentimes there are just little mini movements and many movements for the big movement to happen. And so I'm wondering, what ones of these do you think that were in the sociodrama? And if you can point out, like, where you noticed them, if you noticed any of those. Was there any loyalty? Was there any
Yes.
creativity? Was there any humor? Was there empathy? Was there any open-heartedness? Was there any playfulness? Was any of that anywhere in this sociodrama? And if yes, where?
I noticed the empathy come in for Dad after having that introspective walk and talk moment.
Mm-hmm.
And even some open-heartedness on the child's part, in saying, okay, I'm seeing that you're trying, and I can try to have some compassion and be a little gentler because I see you now saying that you're making an effort.
Yes, yeah.
I
And-
saw loyalty
I saw
in terms of, first of all, I saw loyalty in the mom,
Yeah.
you know, being torn between the two and feeling loyal towards both of them. But also, like, when the child said, do you want to push me away or do you love me and want me? And the dad was saying, well, I love you. You know, it's like that's where I saw loyalty showing up and a desire for connection.
Yeah.
Any-
Open-hearted.
What's that?
Is it then at that point, like more open-hearted?
It was more open-hearted at that moment.
I saw creative, like when there was a double where with the open-ended, what will you do? Like, I thought that was, what show me something. Like, that was very creative and like, oh, like you have to make a commitment somewhere.
So Dad had to come up with
Dad had to
something.
come up with something. And that was creativity,
Right.
like strongly, because it was like, oh, okay. And I was looking around as a character.
I didn't see too much playfulness or humor.
No,
Mm-mm.
Yeah, those weren't there so much.
it
No.
wasn't, no.
The-
it was-
Not so much playfulness, not so much humor.
I'm just trying to think about what did I learn from this that I can somehow take into my interactions with people who have views that are different than mine. And certainly I found it helpful doubling for both roles and trying to feel what it would be like. So that's helpful. Because it's hard to stand in that divide.
I think for me, I see it as like I already knew certain reasons would come up as far as like the legacy, or I've always pictured you as a boy, but then getting to the deeper is always going to make us feel more compassionate. So whatever the issue, I guess, if you really can dig down to the not so superficial reason that you guys are differing views, then
I think also, like, what am I afraid of?
Yeah, and
What will I lose if I open my heart to you?
Right.
That's the most profound. I think that was where it was like, the vision, I only know the vision of you, not who the
Yeah.
person is. So I only see what I see, what I want to see, this lens I have. I don't see the person as they are. And that's what's that was profound. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking from the character self,
Yes,
but like not
yeah.
really, like I see what I want to see and what I want to believe, what the person wants to believe, any person with a different, and I don't see the actuality of who othered or who the othered.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Can
Yeah,
you put that in better
Sure.
words?
And
though?
so
'Cause
I think Linda's question, which is germane, is how can we take this out
Right.
in our
So-
world? And so that we can hold the differing views of others, because
I
clearly
think
these
that's
people
right.
had very differing views, even though they really cared about each other,
See them
really
in-
loved each other, and had differing views. And so, I would be willing to bet that all of us here have people in our world who don't agree with us. And we could just get pissed off at them and let it go at that. And maybe there are ways for us to hold each other with a little more kindness. And so I think that question is, so what did we learn from this sociodrama that can help us
Right.
to hold others with more kindness?
I think that's right, Lauren. Like, if I can look at somebody and say, okay, this is my view of you, and it's rigid and it's very, maybe not the way you really are, and that question, what are you afraid of, helps me and what am I afraid of, helps me to open my heart a little more, have a little softer heart.
I think
Although-
not just what am I afraid of, but what is it that they're maybe afraid of?
Both, yeah.
I think being able to ask questions is important, right? And as opposed to overcommitting to the answer and there being a right and a wrong, what is
Right.
it like to be together in the question? And I think when we were talking about how the playfulness and the humor were missing, I think finding ways to pull in those ingredients, to pull in the creativity, to say, I don't have to fight with you about right or wrong.
Right.
What does it look like to just be with you? What does it look like to just ask, to wonder, to be curious together?
Yeah, good, Whitney.
Yeah. How do we get to that place? I think it's just like the scene. It's like stuck at this like dinner table, and we all kind of like stuck over there. And also we stuck with like what this dad, right? I think he just like had certain expectations way before like this, like meeting this person actually are born. And, you know, they had all those expectations and they thought about how my son's gonna be kind of like like there's like so much bonding rather than you just meet a stranger on the road and you just like meeting them over there, right? But then he had all those like legacy and expectation for all like this person. Like how do we get to another space that's more playful or like remind us of like what we want for the family, or be more playful, like going back to this original place again, like I don't know what that really coming from, but like I feel like it's like going back to when they had initial thought about having children, and like what we really want, but then they might be different than.
Right, and I think for me it's, and I might have said in the sociodrama, I might not have been the child that you wanted, but you still wanted to love. And this is the child that I'm giving you now, so love this child. And it's really shifting that perceived expectation that they had at the very beginning to this one now.
You know, one other thing I'm going to take, I think, from this is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's like, okay, if I can just give a little piece at this moment, a little bit of acceptance. It doesn't have to be, I totally agree with you. Right? Or I totally disagree. It can be just a little bit of trying to be, as you said, curious and understanding. And because I want to go to all or nothing.
Well, and I think, and not leaving the door closed for continued.
Right.
So it's like, I'm willing to give you this and leave the door a little cracked to continue to get there.
Thank you all. So let's stand up and let's end as we usually end. I know there's more to be said here, too.
Yes.
And
But it was very
Because of time.
rich.
may we be
Happy.
may we be healthy, may we be free from suffering, and may we live our lives with ease. And for someone who is not here in this room,
May you be happy. May you be healthy.
may you be free from suffering, and may you live your lives with ease. And for all sentient beings on the planet, we need it. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all be free from suffering, and may we all live our lives with ease.
Thank you, and hello everyone again. We'll just go around of names and then we'll come back to questions. So my name is Ana Maria Vujic and my pronouns are she, her.
My name is Maria Hodomarska. I'm a faculty member in the program in drama therapy. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a cis white woman with gray hair and glasses, wearing all black again.
Nisha Sachnani, director of the program in drama therapy. I'm a cis South Asian woman, brown skin, clear glasses, and a rust-colored sweater and black pants. She, her.
I'm Whitney Bell. My pronouns are she, her.
And I'm June, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Nina. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Herman, my pronouns are he, him.
I'm Karen. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Linda. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Lauren. My pronouns are she, her.
I was too excited when I started, so I'll just say that I'm wearing glasses, have a black dress, black tights with cherries on them, and black shoes. Okay. Well, thank you again, everyone. Some of us were here last night as well when we did psychodrama, and I wanted to start by asking how do you, as a group, and how do you, Nina, as someone who directed both psychodrama and sociodrama, see a difference when participating in psychodrama and in sociodrama?
Do you guys want to say?
Psychodrama is about our own individual stories, personal roles, and sociodrama was about more cultural, societal roles, not our own personal story.
Sociodrama is much easier to take to the community because it doesn't reveal people's personal feelings and or personal life, I should say, personal stories. It does reveal feelings, but we're talking about something out here and we still can have feelings about it, but it's not our own personal life. And so sociodrama, Moreno took sociodrama to Harlem after Martin Luther King was assassinated, and used sociodrama to try to help the community to heal. So I think that that's an example, so that people did not have to reveal their personal lives and yet still could heal from the horror of what had happened.
And it can be used in schools, and it can be used in churches.
Anywhere.
It can be used anywhere, and in places where psychodrama may not be appropriate, sociodrama can be effective.
Maybe before I give it to you, Maria, maybe I can expand my question, is that witnessing what happened today, it was emotionally impactful for me, although it was not my story. And what I'm wondering is, although it might not be your personal story, how is it for you to participate in sociodrama? Because it felt hard at moments to see you taking some of the roles, and for me it felt hard to even imagine myself being in some roles that I might not be taking, or I might not be willing to take, or I was struggling with even witnessing, for example.
I think,
You can go.
I think for me it's the fact that I'm like the curiosity, you know. I'm curious, like this is something, I'm a public school teacher too, so I'm so curious about the role. And as a group, we were all curious about the role. So it became like, that was a pure curiosity, you know. So, and I felt like an investigator in a way too, like I'm investigating this person's thing, and it helped me so much as to step in that, you know. And it didn't matter, because again, I also like small group because it felt safe, right? Even though the audience is here, I still felt like a safety with, you know, with Nina and so I'm able to really explore the character and the role. So it really, I don't know if that answers the question, but I'm able to kind of go, oh, so when I'm in my class, I know it changes my view of the parents of my students, you know, and it gives me more empathy, actually, for the whole situation.
I think for myself, like with psychodrama, you're working on your own individual stuff while feeling connected and supported by those around you that may share different pieces that relate to them. But in this, it's you coming more open-minded to, like, not more open-minded, but coming to a place where you may not have had certain insights and you weren't really going to be able to develop them without the support of the group. So
I have a question about Moreno and his ideas around being less interested in psychiatry and more interested in what he called societry. And you've been talking about it a little bit here now. But Nina, could you explain to us what he was talking about? He was a pretty ambitious person. He wanted to heal the world. So would you explain to us how that works and how that shift for him?
Well, his feeling actually wasn't even a shift. It was really from the beginning. You know, he worked in refugee camps when he was a medical student, and at one point opened up a house of refuge when he was in Vienna as a young man, to take in people who were refugees from the war, and to help them to have a place to live, to be off the street, to be able to have food and shelter, and to get a job so that they could live in the new country. And so really from the beginning, he was very much a social activist. And so for him, society was literally about healing the entire planet. And he felt that anything that we could do to make that happen was tremendously important. And it was about how we could make connections with each other and how we could reinforce connections with each other. And that's done through sociodramas, through psychodramas, through our sociometric connections with others. And his thought was that, for example, in the sociodrama today, I know that you said, Anna Maria, that you had feelings. And that's the hope, that everybody who's sitting here had feelings about what it was that what we were watching, and made some determinations about what would I do in my world when I'm outside this room? What can I do to make it better rather than worse? And so, he wanted us to be, as practitioners, to go every place and do psychodrama and sociodrama. And in any way that we could, and to work sociometrically, to have conversations with each other, and to reverse roles with each other, and because when we literally can reverse roles with each other, I don't mean literal role reversal, but when we internally can reverse roles with each other, it's much more easy to develop empathy and have empathy for somebody else, which makes it easier for people to get along. And so all of the interventions and all of the sociometric interventions are about that.
So Moreno wanted it to be practiced everywhere,
Yes.
and it's not.
Yep.
And, we were witnessing a social therapy in a time, and perhaps there never was a time where we weren't struggling with coexistence.
Right.
We've been struggling with it forever, and we are really struggling with it now. And I really appreciated the warm-up for the group and the vicarious warm-up for all of us to notice, where we are on the continuum, my own shutdownness around things that I disagree with, and how this method allows us to grapple with that and to improvise our coexistence around our relationship to ourselves in these themes, whatever the themes might be. And I suppose I'm thinking about how in other very contentious, with other contentious topics where there's a lot of not necessarily debate, but division, that we often default to the extremes, the one who's on the 0 and the one who's on the 100. And I was thinking about Mom in that enactment and thinking about that ambivalent middle. And maybe ambivalent is not quite the word the character might have chosen, because, in the character's words, even June, as you were reflecting on it, you reflected on loving both characters and really being stuck in that space. And I wondered about, of course, when we're doing something live and in a session, of course, we're going to make choices. And I wondered if we could reflect a little bit about the choice to focus on Theo, the character of Theo and the character of Dad. We did eventually make our way around to Mom, but I wondered about her for some time, this middle space, I'm thinking about some writing around the debates, not the debates, the divisions we have around climate change, and some writing around the 6 Americas. You've got the alarmed group that's convinced it's true and is alarmed, and then you've got the really skeptical side that's like, it's not true and it doesn't matter what you say. But it's this middle zone and the potentiality in that middle zone that I get curious about as well. I wondered if anyone might want to comment on that.
I feel so much about being in the middle, personally, and also as practitioner, we also being in this middle role of holding both spaces and not putting them down, telling them you're not right or wrong, not always being navigating in this ambivalence and like uncertainty and don't know where to guide them towards. I felt so much at the place, and I also was thinking a lot about like if I could do another intervention, like if I could speak up more or like freeze this like conversation and direct it somewhere, and that feels like this instinct of this practitioner in me that I want to like let's freeze, let's just like do the walk and talk and do something like, or like separate them, like rather than feeling like stuck here, like to get moving a little bit, I think. But yeah, but like that's like things I was thinking and interventions that I might do in real life, I think, to kind of break that. Yeah. But still, I don't know, still I don't know where that might end up to be, like just to constantly being at this position of not knowing, but be there with them. Yeah, it has like so much resonance with me personally, I think.
I do think that's a really big question, because it very often is the middle voice goes unheard. And I think it goes back to what we were saying about not being all or nothing. And that opens us up to have the compassion towards others. So like the middle voice maybe needs to be the loudest and isn't.
I guess I'm curious about it too, because I often find myself in that space.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do.
Yes.
You know, I can identify over here and I can identify over here, and maybe I ought to just take a nap or watch some Netflix, or wait till this feeling passes. That's really tough.
Yeah.
In that space.
It's hard to live in the question.
Yeah, I think when you're being rigid on one end and rigid on the other, and then there's the more flexible in the middle, it can feel very hopeless at times, because it's like, I'm not going to be able to make them budge. I'm not going to be able to make them budge. So I just sit here.
So nuanced.
And my hope was to get to Mom, and then I looked at the clock. And said, uh-oh. And we didn't. Yes. Because usually sociodrama sessions are a little longer than this one.
Right.
And so I felt we were sort of running in. I want to thank all of you for running with me with so many spectrograms and sociograms and this, that, and the other thing, because they are very much a part of sociodrama and a part of the warm-up in sociodrama.
Nina, you know that I don't think I can get this right, but the thing that Moreno said, that he created psychodrama to get people in the door, and he created sociometry to what?
Connect them.
Connect them.
I also have so many questions about interventions, but I would also like to open it up to the audience. So does anyone have any questions? Actually, I'm sure you do have. Who has a question for the group? Mina, I think Helen has a mic.
Ben.
Hi. My first question will be in psychodrama, after reverse the role, one person has to repeat the lines. In social drama, I didn't see it often this time. Is a particular reason for that?
And you mean repeating the doubling?
Yeah.
Oh, they repeated or they changed it. Yeah.
I think
after reverse role.
Oh, after the reversal? I thought people did repeat.
They did. It was just not as extended.
Not as much as psychodrama.
Maybe people didn't say as much as they do in psychodrama.
Okay.
Because you can also just repeat the last few words that have been said. Because the role reversal, one of the reasons for repeating after a role reversal is to sort of root us again to where we are in the drama. And so if you just say a couple of words that have been said before the role reversal, so if this person speaks, and when this person's over here, And that person just has to say a couple of words. They don't have to say the whole speech that the person has said after the role reversal.
Hi, everyone. Megan.
Hi there.
So I'm thinking a lot about social justice, perhaps inspired by Whitney's beautiful shirt that says theater is social justice, and this is sociodrama. And when I'm thinking about social justice, I'm thinking about how do we make spaces braver and safer for folks, right? And then there was a lot of cultural relevance connected to queer communities, more specifically non-binary, trans, and gender non-conforming youth, and how they're represented. So my question is, as facilitators, what do we do when there's these oops or ouch moments when people don't have the information or don't know culturally what's filled with humility and responsibility? For example, there were times in the drama when folks referred to Theo as a son, but Theo's a child, and their pronouns are they, them.
Right.
So what is our responsibility to support in furthering that conversation through the action and through the play of the sociodrama?
Well, usually in a sociodrama, if the person is playing a role and saying the son, that's the role that they're playing where they are at that moment. And so as a director, we don't correct them in the moment because they're playing the role. But hopefully the person who is playing the role that Theo played will be saying, using the correct pronouns all the time and requesting for those correct pronouns. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think simply that, in a way, helps to further the work and the understanding of what the challenges are. And there's also something about a learning curve. In psychodrama, there are terms about how we learn a role. And it goes from role taking to role playing to role creating. And so when we're in the role taking phase, we goof up all the time. Like thinking about if we were somebody who was going to learn how to be a line cook or something like that. We'd be slopping things up all the time because we wouldn't exactly, if it was the first time we were doing it, we wouldn't exactly know how to do it. But after a while, we would get good at being a line cook. And then after a further while, hopefully we would get great at it and we might even flip our whatever the heck you use as a line cook, and be able to maybe even create new dishes and this, that, and the other thing. And so I think part of it is taking the group where the group is at the time and working with respect for moving the work further, hopefully. And while it would be wonderful and satisfying for us to see in a sociodrama for somebody to just say, sure, I'll do anything. I don't know how real that is in relation to our internal views. And what's interesting to me is I was in Taiwan doing a conference in January, and guess what the issue was? A young man wanted a gender reassignment, and he was under 30. And in Taiwan, if you're under 30 years old, you need to ask your parents. And so he needed to be, and there's a whole bunch of issues about why you have to do this. It's legal issues. And so he needed to have a conversation with his father and his grandfather so that he could not be he, but she, because he wanted and needed the gender reassignment because she was she and not he. And it's fascinating that we're seeing this, that this is the choice that we made again today, so this is very much with us. And interestingly, the question of generations came up also in that sociodrama. Because our shifts are not just shifts based on what's happening between Herman and me. It's also what we bring, what Herman brings, what Nina brings, and back there. And being able to have the patience, I guess, and the kindness to hold that it's, while we would love for it to be perfect immediately, to hold that we may have to take a step and a step and a step and a step. That's probably a longer answer than you wanted or needed.
Oh, Nina, I'm so grateful. Thank you for humanizing that we don't know everything and we'll make mistakes, and that we have the capacity to grow and to learn and to do so with compassion. So thank you for your beautifully long-winded answer.
Thank you. It's more of an observation. What I found extremely interesting was the choice of characters, right? And we decided to go with a young child who was non-binary and a mom and dad, and we chose the mom to be the peacekeeper, and we chose the dad to be the aggressor or the antagonist. And I thought about that because in this day and age, when we talk about non-binary and how this younger generation is changing how we view gender and how we view each other, what we didn't notice was that the older gay generation is having a hard time as well adjusting to that, right? And what I found extremely interesting is when we look at conflict, we take the conflict and we have these preconceived notions of what conflict is supposed to look like, and our responses come from those preconceived notions. And when you all were doing the doubling, is when I noticed that that's where the uncomfortable part comes in, right? Where now we have to take away what we're feeling and say something that we really don't want to say at this point because we want to prove our point at that moment in time. So it was extremely interesting to me to see how the dynamic went and how the compassion started to happen. I don't know if you guys realized when you did the reversal at one point, when you started the reversal, you guys took each other's scarves and put it around your own necks. But at one point when the compassion started to grow, you put the scarves on each other.
Really?
And that, oh my God, I'm getting emotional, sorry. It was
Good
such
catch.
a huge impact.
Yeah.
Because it proved that there was something really happening up there with the doubling. And it was an amazing thing to watch. So thank you for that. Honestly, it really was an amazing thing to watch.
That's so cool.
Thank you. Great catch.
It's really cool.
Beautiful ending. Thank you.